At a community barbecue, Mrs. Ballard and Mr. Clark are buying dinner for their families. Miss Ballard purchases 3 hot dog meals and 1 hamburger meal, paying a total of $21. Miss Clark buys 3 hot dog meals and 3 hamburger meals, spending $39 in all. How much do the meals cost? Now remember, we discussed in class, first read through the problem, then identify your variables. So I'm going to allow my x variable to equal hot dogs. Price. And my y variable to equal hamburger price. Don't ask me why I wrote a number sign and a price for one. My brain wasn't thinking too clearly on that one. So, 3 hot dog meals, whatever their price may be. That would be 3 times x. Now he also bought 1 hamburger meal at whatever its price may be. Those two together, added together, totaled $21. Now, next piece of information. Mr. Clark buys 3 hot dog meals at whatever cost they may be, and 3 hamburger meals at whatever cost they may be. He spends in all $39, which means these 2 meals added together cost him $39. It looks like we're set up pretty cleanly here for the elimination method. If I multiply one of these by a negative value, that will give me negative 3x minus 3y equals negative 39. So 3x minus 3x gives me 0x. 1y minus 3y gives me minus 2y equals 21 plus negative 39 is negative 18. So negative 2y equals negative 18, where y will then be equal to 9. Well, we already said that y represented the price of the hamburgers. So the price of the hamburger is $9. Now that we know the price of the hamburger, we can figure out the price of the hot dog. 3 times whatever the price of the hot dog is, plus 1 times whatever the price of the hamburger is, but we now know the price of the hamburger. That's $9 is equal to 21. So we can just solve for x now. 1 times 9 is 9. Where we'll subtract 9 from both sides. And finally, we'll divide by 3 on both sides, and we will determine that x is equal to 4. Well, x represented the price of the hot dogs, so they must be $4. How much do the meals cost? Well, the meals cost $4 per hot dog, and they cost $9 per hamburger. Question 23. A librarian is expanding some sections of the city library. He buys books at a special price from a dealer who charges one price for any hardback and another price for any paperback. I'm going to skip over some of the information because we now get down to what's the special price for each type of book. In other words, what is the dollar value for a hardback and the dollar value for a paperback? Well, since those are the 2 things we're looking for, they must be our x and our y variables. So now we can start to put together a system of equations. So, for the children's section, Mr. O'Connor purchases 90 new covered hard books. So 90 times whatever the cost is for the hard books. Well, we don't know that yet, so that's our variable x. And, well, he's buying something else, so we're going to add whatever he's buying. 7 times the paperback cost, which we still don't know, so 7 times y. All of that will equal the amount that he spent. Well, he spent $755. He also purchased 59 new hardcover books and 64 new paper books. And on that purchase, spent $792. Now, hopefully you can see the dilemma that we're running into here. We're going to end up with a bit messier numbers. If we try to use the elimination method, we're either multiplying by 90 or 59, or we're multiplying by 7 or 64. If we try to use the substitution method, though, we're going to end up with some pretty ugly fractions. And the way that you can check the fractions is you know that this is going to be your constant value over here. Divide the constant by 64 and you end up with 12.375. That's not quite so bad. But then 59 divided by the 64 will eventually be 0.921875. That's not going to be very friendly. So it looks like the elimination method is going to be the simpler of the two so that we don't make some mistakes with a bunch of fractions. So we're just going to have to go ahead and do it. Multiply one by one value and another by another. I'm going to multiply this by negative 64. That's going to give me negative 5,760 minus, oops, sorry, forgot my x, minus 448y is equal to 48,320 negative 48,320. There we go. Well, I'm going to have to multiply this by the opposite y value of 7 because I don't really care that I don't need to change my other y value to negative y since I changed my first equation to a negative y value. So 7 times 59 is 413x plus 7 times 64 is 448y, which is why we chose to multiply both of these this way, as my y's will cancel out. 7 times 792, 5,554. Now we can see my y's cancel out, so I have 5760, negative 5,760 plus 413, which is going to give me negative 5,347 plus 0. I'm going to skip writing that. So we have negative 48,320 plus 5,544 gives me negative 42,776. We will divide that by 5347 and get an x value that is equal to 8. Now, 8, we already said, since that's our x value, is the cost of a hard book. Now that we know the cost of the hard book, we can figure out the cost of the paperback by plugging in x for 8 and simply solving for y. So let's continue. 90 times 8 plus 7y is equal to 755. 90 times 8 is 720 plus 7y is equal to 755. So I'm going to subtract 720 from both sides. And 7y is equal to 35. So we can see real quickly that y must be equal to 5. The number of hardback books, our x value, is 8. The number of paperback books, our y value, is 5. Oh, sorry, those are the costs. We already knew the number of them. They're $8 and $5.